Greetings everyone, my name is Dr. Jason Freeman. I'd like to welcome you all to my channel. In this video I reviewed the 2023 film Blue Beetle starring Xolo Maridueña, Bruna Marquezine, George Lopez, Susan Sarandon, Becky G, and directed by Angel Manual Soto. I'm going to tell you what I like about the film, I'm going to tell you what I don't like about the film, then I'm going to tell you why I think you should see the film or just skip it. So let's get into it. What did I like about the film? Well, first and foremost, I love Blue Beetle, the character. Whenever he was on screen, I got hyped. And there was this music that came on every time he would come on. It kind of reminded me of when Wonder Woman's music would come on. It would just get you hyped up. You know something was about to happen, and he did not disappoint. He was kind of an interesting mix of like the best parts of Iron Man, the Power Rangers, has some ninja, they have ninja swords and everything, and like martial arts, almost like a Jet Li type situation. And so it was a really cool character. And the powers also were reminiscent of Green Lantern. So basically, if he thinks it's said in the trailer, if he thinks it can happen. And so it was a pretty cool mix of powers. And so when it came to the character Blue Beetle, it was an awesome character. I can definitely see him popping up in other films going forward. And Jaime Reyes, played by Xolo Maridueña, has very much of a Peter Parker type nature. Sweet kid, doesn't want to hurt anybody, in over his head when it comes to these powers. And so it's really cool to kind of see him develop into the Blue Beetle. You know, at first, again, just kind of a regular kid, and then he becomes this superhero. And so I really like that aspect of the film as well. I also love the dad, played by Damien Alcazar. He really has, he serves as this kind of emotional anchor within the film. And so, for example, you have George Lopez, who's kind of the comic relief, and then you have the more serious character of the dad, I can't think of his name, but the father. And so I really liked his role in the film, and he plays it throughout the film, where again, he's kind of this kind of serious voice of reason. You know, we're gonna stick together. We're gonna take care and do what we need to do to make sure that Jaime is okay. And so I really liked his character as well. And I also liked the comedy at times. There were definitely points in the film where, for example, I mentioned George Lopez as a comedy relief. He got a little annoying at various points, especially at the beginning of the film. However, as he went through the film, I think he became funnier. I guess once he figured out kind of the character a little bit more, and kind of his role. There was some serious stuff with him as well. And so he really was funny at times, and I enjoyed him. But there were definitely other times when he was a little bit annoying, and I'm like, okay, well, this isn't funny. Why is this here? So what didn't I like? Well, I have to say that the message of this film was very, very heavy-handed. Now, everything in this film was about this being a Mexican-American family, about the discrimination. The whole Cord Corporation exemplified gentrification, exemplified everything negative about American society and its treatment of Hispanic individuals. And so, yeah, it was a very heavy-handed story, to the point that even had a scene indicative of an INS raid. Like, and you can see it once you see the film. It was very much of an INS raid, to everything from kind of the chaos to how they handle the family. It's crazy. And the villain, played by Susan Sarandon, is the epitome of a racist white woman, to the point that she's more of a caricature than a character. Literally every racist thing you can think of somebody doing, from, you know, getting someone's name wrong, to assuming that someone is a worker when they're, you know, when they have a different job. She hits all the bullet points. And I have to say the writing was all over the place. So if Deus Ex Machina was a movie, it would be called Blue Beetle. If they wanted someone to be a hacker, they just made a hacker. And whenever they do that, I'm like, why are they broke? If they have this ability, why are they broke? This other person becomes or used to be some kind of revolutionary in Central America or Cuba or somewhere along those lines. And again, this never came up before. This never was mentioned before. And they would pull stuff out, like, just randomly to push the plot along. And it didn't have any real build-up at all. That was the issue. Obviously, you have to set up characters, especially once you don't know. But there was no real foreshadowing or build-up. It just happened. You know, this person's a revolutionary, this person's a hacker, and just kind of go with it. And in regards to the villains, they would always give them some kind of sympathetic backstory. I felt like maybe like an executive at Warner Brothers, like, this character here is too unlikable. give them a backstory to make them sympathetic in this moment so that we don't hate them at the end of the movie, or we don't hate them quite as much. We understand the motivation. It's like, you don't need that all the time. So, should you see this film or just skip it? And I would say see it for the Blue Beetle character. He's going to come back later on, according to James Gunn. And based on what I saw in the film, he should. He is a really cool character. He kind of reminds me of, again, Spider-Man, specifically in No Way Home. He has all the positive aspects. His powers are cooler, in my opinion, than Spider-Man and Batman as well. So I definitely think you should watch it to see Blue Beetle going forward. And the fact that you do have a Latino superhero, that's important. You want to have heroes that represent the people who are, watching the films. Kind of like a Shang-Chi, a Black Panther. Again, Jaime really fits into that mold as well. He's really likable. He's a likable. I was watching a little bit of his podcast. He has a podcast. He's a very likable person, and it translates very well into the character. So if you found this review interesting and or informative, please like this video and subscribe to my channel. Also, please share this video. And if there's any other comics related content you want me to review on this channel, please leave those suggestions in the comment section below. Thank you all for your time and have a wonderful rest of your day.